Howdy everyone. I thought I'd do a little bit on something I found that is missing on YouTube. There's nothing about dynamic soaring in a simulator called RC7 aerofly. Also, thought I'd got my lovely new radio from a mate who sold it to me quite cheaply. Thank you, you know who you are. But these things are the duck's guts. I love it. Absolutely crazy. The FR Sky X12S, absolutely mint piece of work. Super good to work with, and very customizable. Just the possibilities literally are endless on these things. They're pretty nuts. Oh, by the way, sorry if you can hear the buzzing in the background. That's my 3D printer ticking away, printing some tail plugs for the energy wing. Actually, I've got one here. Oh, quickly show this. So it's forever tuning away, printing these out for me at the moment. But anyway, so back to this sim. So Aerofly RC7's a bit of an older sim now, but what I noticed is the dynamic soaring function in it is nothing. I'll switch over to the main screen. Great little sim. Get into it. Okay, so great sim, like plenty of slope soaring options. Where should I? There's a good one. Let's kill this music, hey? Music, goodbye. Now, the yeah, back to the sim. So great little sim, plenty of option for slope soaring, and plenty of different fields. You can learn a fair bit load from this sim. Control-wise, I find it to be very realistic in certain situations. Also, it's not as hard as flying the real thing, but it gives you the best feel for what I find for learning. Let's stop this one. Let's find some of the other hills. This one's a pretty good one. I like to tweak the settings. If it comes straight out of the box, it doesn't quite look this clean and polished. You do have to fiddle with the weather settings and stuff to be able to I guess get the cloud effects and that sun effect to sort of really show up and look decent. I'm not running the craziest of i7 Windows computers, but it's not too bad. Might get a little jittery in the video because I am using the same computer to record the two cameras, receive the remote control, and run the sim all at once. So it's doing pretty good for that. But anyway, we're not here for frontside slope soaring, we are here for DS. So let's crash this thing into the ground and start fresh. The aircraft I am using at the moment is the Mini Mac. Over here, a quick little description. As for the rest of the planes, there's a fair selection in here of what you can fiddle with. Helis and jets and 3D planes, scale, all sorts. For gliders themselves, there's even quite a substantial list, from planks and speed wings and hotliners. So even features the dynamic 160 in here at 29 kilograms, which is quite hard to fly in this sim. The Blade XL is a favourite. The Birdie DS is quite fun, but I find them a match good for Mini-Mac, for practicing DS. Quite fun. Go to the extras, and down here on the when you have to select this particular scenery, Creek Island, which is a full 3D scenery. where some of the other ones are just a 2D plane, like a photo that you can fly within, where this actually has like landscape contours and everything. Alright, try again. Dynamic soaring down here. Click into that and it brings this hill up and it presets the wind for you. Not too quick, it's enough to get moving. You can then go in and tune the wind and turn it up a bit more for some of the bigger models like the dynamic and get the really high speeds out of it. Also got the speedo up here, which keeps a top record of your lap speed, which is always good to try and pin against yourself and see how quick you can get this thing going. So off we launch. I'll just get some height on the front side, turn around and dive in. First lap I was a bit far away, let's get this moving, hey. Oh, that nearly put me in the ground. I've got the turbulence turned a fair way up, so it can actually shake you off track, but it's good to have that. If you don't turn the turbulence on, I find it's too clean, it's too easy to keep track of where you're going, because it doesn't bug out on you at all. Where with the turbulence turned up, this thing, it really does give you that little bit of extra reality that, alright, not everything always goes to plan. That's rocking up around the 200 kilometers an hour. Good old sun, losing the plane in the sun, I hate that. Worse than real life. Yeah, so that's this plane. Let's trade out for something a bit bigger and quicker. Well, actually we'll go to the Blade XL. I quite like this one as well for dynamic soaring. Can take a bit of a higher wind speed, does float a bit more on the front side, makes it a bit easier to drop in. Behaves a little bit more in the back of the hill, a bit easier to control than the little mini Mac. That's enough of that one. Right, let's crank this wind up a bit, hey? Scenery, set wind. Let's bring it up a fair bit. Hey, straight away it punches quite high. Drop in. Oh, that was no good. Reset. You can also turn the wind up to the point where it's too much for the planes in here. I'm right on that borderline at the moment that if I tried to front side this it would be quite difficult. So that's now pushing over 300 kilometers an hour. Wow, I thought I was in the ground then on that one. Let's bring it in. Alright, let's get something a bit faster. The Birdie DS is absolutely spastic, and in the lower wind conditions it's quite fun. It's only 100 centimeters and only 350 grams, so it DS's in really light wind on this sim like absolutely crazy. It's almost a bit too twitchy. Keeps on your toes, good fun. Now for the dynamic 160. This thing is beast mode. Set it into dynamic soaring. Let's turn this wind up. You can see the arrow here, the green, is showing the wind direction, and you got your average direction, but then it shows the turbulence on top of that. You can fiddle with the turbulence in here, and wind variation, your average speed, all sorts of stuff. Alright, it's even shaking in this fella's hands, ready to get going. So let's get it going. Turn my elevator up. Aileron up a bit on the remote. My rates, finding it a little bit too loose. Bring it back. I was getting a bit far away then. Alright, here we go. Ah! Try that again. Turn my ailerons up a little bit as well. Maybe get a bit more control on this thing. Here we go. So that's already 500 kilometers an hour, which is, I need less elevator. That's too much, too twitchy, Restart it. There's some nights I sit on this simulator for a good three hours. Some nights. It's really good way to get the mind off of things, especially when you can't get out and fly. Here we go. And a tree. But that was off the clock. 600 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you can really push this thing. It's quite fun. Well worth a look into. Yeah, I guess that's it from NRGFPV this week. But hope you enjoyed this little video. And oh, actually something else I might do a quick touch on is the little NRGFPV sim box here. So it's not something I've invented or anything. It's a drone flight controller with a FR Sky XSR receiver, all mashed into one little box, and you can use it to interface to simulators, so you can fly wirelessly. Quite good, especially for the Horus, where the USB port comes out of the back here, so you can't actually put this down with the USB cable in the back. It's quite annoying. But with this little box and a bit of trickery, it's really good, and bugger all latency as well. Nothing noticeable in my opinion, and especially for flying on a simulator like this, it's more than good enough. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good evening, and stay away from the COVID. Don't get sick.